to Advanced Practice, where we bring together the latest thinking in mental health practice. This is the premiere of our new series on antidepressants. And in this introductory episode, we start at the beginning, before SSRIs, before Prozac, before the term chemical imbalance entered everyday language. To understand where we are, we have to understand how we got here. Depression, as a clinical syndrome, has been described for thousands of years. The ancient Greeks called it melancholia and attributed it to an excess of black bile. That theory reflected something important. Even early physicians recognized that mood disorders were medical conditions. And for centuries, treatment focused on balancing humors, then on rest as cures, then on sedation. There was no clear biological target. The modern era of antidepressants began by accident in the 1950s. Physicians noticed that a tuberculosis drug, apronizid, seemed to elevate mood in patients. Around the same time, imipramine, initially studied as an antipsychotic, failed for psychosis but improved depressive symptoms. These observations led to the first monoamine oxidase inhibitors, or MAOIs, and tricyclic antidepressants, TCAs. For the first time, there was a pharmacologic intervention that directly and reproducibly improved depressive symptoms in many patients. From these discoveries emerged the monoamine hypothesis. The basic idea was simple. Depression results from a deficiency in monoamine neurotransmitters, primarily serotonin, norepinephrine, and possibly dopamine in the synaptic cleft. If low monoamines contribute to depressive symptoms, then increasing their availability should alleviate those symptoms. MAOIs prevented breakdown of monoamines. Tricyclics blocked reuptake of norepinephrine and serotonin. The clinical response reinforced the theory. But the monoamine hypothesis was always an oversimplification. Antidepressants increase monoamine levels within hours, yet clinical improvement often takes weeks. That delay suggests downstream changes: receptor sensitivity, intracellular signaling, gene expression, neuroplasticity, which are more central to recovery than simple neurotransmitter concentration. Over time, research began to focus on receptor regulation, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, hippocampal neurogenesis, and stress circuitry involving the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. The 1980s and 1990s marked the rise of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Fluoxetine's approval reframed antidepressant treatment as safer. The narrative of serotonin deficiency became a powerful public health message. It reduced stigma by medicalizing depression, but it also flattened a complex neurobiological condition into a single chemical explanation. In reality, depression involves genetics, inflammation, stress exposure, trauma, circadian dysregulation, cognitive patterns, and social context. As research progressed, newer agents targeted dual reuptake inhibition, atypical receptor profiles, and eventually entirely different systems. The development of ketamine and esketamine shifted attention toward glutamate and synaptic plasticity. Rapid antidepressant effects challenged the slow monoamine-centered model and reopened fundamental questions about mechanism. So, where does that leave the monoamine hypothesis? It remains historically foundational and clinically useful, but insufficient. Depression cannot be reduced to serotonin levels alone. Antidepressants likely work not just by altering neurotransmitters, but by reshaping neural networks involved in mood regulation, reward processing, and stress response. In this series, we will examine how these medications evolved, how they actually work, how to prescribe them thoughtfully, and where the field may be heading next. Understanding the history is not an academic exercise. It sharpens clinical judgment. It reminds us that today's dominant theory may become tomorrow's stepping stone. That's it for today. Watch for our next episodes on the different antidepressants available. Also, you can subscribe to our channel and get notified for new videos on pharmacology reviews in the next coming days. See you soon!